Jen, would you like to count us down?
Yeah, I feel like Freddie from iCarly. And what does he not? He like doesn't say. Okay, I got
5, 4, 3, 2.
Three,
He doesn't
2.
say one.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Brr, brr, ma.
Oh.
I feel very warmed up.
Hello, and welcome to Outside the Search Bar, the podcast where we try to answer questions without using Google. I'm Emily Schubach, and I will turn it over to my brother and co-host, Jacob.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacob. So each week, Emily and I are going to come prepared with questions that we don't know the answers to. And we each have notes on our phones that are filling up with an astounding number of questions, which is honestly a testament to how little we actually know.
Of course, we would be remiss to not take listener questions. So if you have a tough question you'd like us to answer on the podcast, send us an email to searchbarpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on social at searchbarpodcast.
Now that that's over, I have the supreme honor, the greatest honor of a lifetime, to introduce our fourth guest ever. Third or fourth. We'll edit whichever one is the correct answer. Okay, introducing our next guest, my friend and fellow Peppa Pig stan, Jennifer Peterson, who I know because we went to college together. And in the notes, I wrote that we dated for a little bit, but that's not true.
I was just going to say, I didn't know that.
Scandal.
We did maybe in like a dream once, but
yeah, maybe. Jen tried to have sleepovers. It was a lot.
Thank you. Go Bulls. But more importantly, we stand Peppa Pig.
Jennifer, what brought you here today? What made you decide, yeah, I'm going to do this podcast?
So I've actually wanted to do podcasts for a while, and then you two are my favorite humans. So I decided, you said, do you want to be on our podcast? And I said, yes, I will be on this podcast.
This is riveting.
It's just, yeah.
Your rise to fame is so iconic. I can't believe that that's how it happened.
I know, it's happening so fast, but, I'm prepared for it. My family is. It's going to be a big change for us.
Yeah. Will you let the fame change you?
Yeah.
For the worse.
Yeah, I'm going to make a lot of enemies, but it's going to be great.
Yes, that's wonderful.
We love that for you.
So one thing we like to ask all of our guests is, what's the last thing you searched for, or something that interesting that you searched for this week, recent history, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, let's go with. So I'm a Google stan as well. We'll Google everything and anything if I need to, even if I don't need to. I'd probably say Googling a dual dash cam that I've been interested in getting. Really saving up the finances for it because I want it to be supreme, because watching those videos on YouTube is very important to me. It's just riveting seeing these other drivers. And not even like the accidents, just seeing people drive.
And so it records both in front of the car and behind the car?
Yes. So they have many different ones. I want the one that records the front of the car, the back of the car. And this one that I saw, it even has like a little tiny camera pointed at you. So you can like see yourself in the corner.
I don't know why I assumed that it recorded like the front and you only instead of the back of the car. I guess that would be more important. But
yeah.
Is it like high quality video and audio that you could like vlog in the car?
Ooh, I'm not sure. So my friend has one. Her fiance got her one because she's not the best driver. And I was like, I want this. And
she's not the best driver. That's a very targeted present.
Yeah, she's not. It's just facts.
It's true, but it's fine.
Unfortunate, but so he set that up for her, and they review her driving every night before bed. No, I'm kidding. Imagine that.
I was like, is she like taking a course or something?
Is she okay?
No, that would be hilarious, but they haven't watched it yet, so she hasn't told me if there's audio or not. I'm looking forward to that.
So are you going to start a channel of your drives of like Jen's journeys or something? Like,
I may, because I love being in the car and driving. And honestly, if the camera's facing me, it'll be great because when I drive, sometimes I have my dog in a little bucket in the back and he's just staring at me.
In a bucket?
So it's like a little bucket. Yeah, it's like not like a bucket.
Like a laundry
It's
basket?
like a seat. No.
Hmm.
I call it a bucket, but it's like
It's like a child seat.
No. It's like, those things where you put groceries, how they have it like out like that. So it's bigger, but it's for dogs.
I'm trying to like a grocery basket.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not plastic.
I thought people just had something like a designated area in their car for groceries. And I was like, I throw those wherever. You're rolling around in my trunk.
I like to tumble dry my groceries before I get them home.
My boss did that one time. She left a watermelon. Sorry, I know, triggering, but she left a watermelon.
We'll post the watermelon video on the Instagram. I'm so sorry.
She left it in her trunk and that thing rotted hard. But yeah, so they just chill in a bucket. But he doesn't like to lay down in the bucket. He just stares at me. So it'd be fun to just see his little head back there.
Oh, that's really cute and fun. It'd be great for your channel.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself an aggressive driver?
Yes, definitely. You know that the Bruno Mars song? I don't know. It was like, this bitch. That's just what I constantly say when I'm driving. Recently, it was Tuesday. A man was crossing the street and I was turning right and I saw him coming, but I was like still just inching up. He has the nerve to point at the walk sign in front of me. And, maybe it's because I was in a rush. He just really was irritating me. So I said, I fucking see you, Grandpa. It wasn't great, but that was my most recent.
And this is how we found out that Jen hit someone.
No, he's fine. He made
We'll be reviewing her videotapes every night. Wow. Have you ever been in a car accident?
Oh, well, yes.
What were you listening to?
Triggering for you to speak about.
Well, so the last car accident, I was into air quotes with accident. There was a kid.
It was the old man she hit on purpose.
I was driving down the street and these kids were on their bikes. And I was on a main road where the speed limit's like 30. And there were 3 kids. The first kid came out, stayed in the bike lane. The second kid came out, stayed in the bike lane. The third kid came out, took that bitch real wide into my lane, and he hit my car.
Oh.
He rolled under it a little bit, but he's fine. His ankle was swollen and he had to go to the emergency room, but he was fine. He was up talking, couldn't walk because he rolled under my car. My tire became flat, but nobody talks about that. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So he hit my car.
Okay.
And the other 2 kids, they stayed in the bike lane. He didn't. He was like, skirt. And I did swerve to try and get out of the way where I was on the other side of the road into oncoming traffic. So we all learned a lesson that day.
And what were you listening to during that?
What was I listening to? I'm not sure, but I was on the way to PetSmart to get something for my dogs. I never ended up getting it.
Was he in the basket?
No, luckily they were not in the car. And my friend is actually a cop in the town where I hit the kid. So I call her and
the kid hit you. The kid hit you.
Yes. Sorry.
First storyline.
Change the story.
Fix it in post. The kid hit me. And I was like, I hit somebody on the bike. She was like, what? This is what I said. She was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And I was freaking out. She's like, all right, just calm down. Just call the police. And they came and everything was great. I was sweating because it was on a hill, of course. And I was running up and down the hill trying to check on the kid. And his friends were like, oh, thank you so much for stopping. I'm like, who the fuck lets a kid hit their car and then just keeps it pushing? First off, you're not going to get far because my tire was flat. So, yep. I think I'm definitely going to get that dash cam.
Thank you for letting us know. We love to hear it.
Yes.
Wow. Well, with that, let's transition to the next segment. The next segment is called What's Trending? Where we go through the latest Google search trends from that week and we give context to what people are searching for and or just our opinions about it. So the first Google search trend that I found was that National Puppy Day. It was yesterday.
Yay, little puppies.
How did you celebrate your puppies? I know you each have a dog. I do not have one, so I really can't give any additional context or feedback for this one.
I did not know that it was National Puppy Day, but I did happen to take him over to my boyfriend's house where he gets fed a lot more snacks than he does when he was here. So we made taquitos. So Stubbs got to eat some meat and some tortilla shells. So we're going to pretend that that was an intentional celebration.
Yes, it was, of course. I am a single dog mom of 2, and my friend went away on vacation, so I was dog sitting her dog. So I was a single dog mom of 3, and it was stressful. So I was pretty much stressed yesterday, and I also didn't know that it was National Puppy Day. But I was with 3 dogs, and it was the time. It was also raining here, so it wasn't that much of a time, but we did go on a nice walk.
Oh, that's lovely. We love to hear it.
Oh, I gave them blueberries. Oh, it was cute. Yes, I did celebrate. I purposely took my dog on a walk and gave them blueberries.
Perfect. I love to hear that. The second thing that I found that was trending was that the Maury Povich show was canceled.
I mean...
I think it was on the air for 30 years.
That's a long time. So clearly there was a demographic that was watching it.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't run out of that Maury content because every day, something crazy's popping up.
I also put this one on there because I think there's the opportunity for a spin-off of that show where we make a podcast. That's the same thing. It's just in podcast form. There's now a vacuum that exists that needs to be filled by us.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I will say I started listening to a podcast that my friend recommended. It's called Normal Gossip, where they just get random people's gossip and they tell it in a really juicy way.
Mm.
It is not as dramatic as Maury was. It's like normal, like office gossip, but it was pretty good. I would listen to it.
You should direct message them and see if they want to be on our podcast.
I'll do it. They were cool. I feel like they'd be down.
And then we can be on their podcast and tell gossip about Jennifer.
Yeah, spill the tea.
And then she hit a kid on a bicycle.
He hit me.
Yes, he hit her. What color was the bicycle?
Couldn't tell you. It was under my car. Everything went by so quick.
I'm glad that he was okay though. We're glad he's okay. Yeah. He's fine. He lived.
And he hurt his ankle, and I've had multiple ankle injuries, so I told him I got you. You'll be fine. You'll get through it.
Do you keep in touch?
He hurt his ankle. You hurt your spirit.
Exactly. We don't keep in touch. I also don't know the status of the claim with Geico. The person that was helping me. Well, it's Geico.
Was it a gecko?
Yes, it was a gecko. Her name was Allison, and 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
You heard it here, guys. Don't take insurance claims from a gecko named Allison.
My car is also still broken because when he hit me, the light.
What was this?
Oh, this was good. It was a few years ago.
Okay.
It was probably COVID. Oh my gosh, it was the summer of COVID. COVID came.
2020.
Yeah, because I remember their neighbor came out and she knew the kid. She was I was freaking out, I was shaking. She was oh, do you want a hug? And I remember I was iffy because COVID. But I was yes, I really need a hug right now. So it's either COVID. I don't know. So everything was fine.
That's the story of how Jen got COVID.
Get on a bike. What can I tell you?
Damn. Wow.
Amazing.
Well, Maury Povich was canceled.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of sad. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those you stayed home sick from school and you watch it. That, mm-hmm. Judge Judy.
Yeah. I have a Vizio TV, and the Vizio TV apps, they have a bunch of different streaming services on it, especially knockoff ones. And there's an app called Nosey TV, Nosey TV. And all it is on repeat 24/7. It's Steve Wilkos, Jerry Springer, and Maury Povich. That's the only 3 shows that it has. And it just plays them on repeat. And so I'm worried about their content. Will they be able to sustain anything new? Or are they just going to play reruns for the rest of their app?
You know what?
Probably just reruns. If they got 30 years
Yeah.
worth of content, like they're just fine.
I
They're
guess.
fine. And like, if you think about, I think I know why Maury went under, because on Jerry's show, you know, it was Jerry. On Steve, it's Steve. There's nothing for Maury.
Are Steve and Jerry still on the air?
Probably.
I
Something
think
to
so.
say.
I think they shoot Jerry Springer like in Connecticut or something, like very close to where I am.
Should we go to the Jerry Springer show?
We should. I mean, Jacob's already right up there in Buffalo.
Oh, as of 6 days ago, Jerry Springer says that he's retiring while he's still healthy, but the show will remain on the air until the TV year ends in September.
Wow.
Wow, this is
Everyone's
big.
hitting the dip.
Steve Wilkos still on air. Steve Wilkos. It's the latest and greatest from Google says it's renewed until 2018. Oh no, it says that it's still returning. It returned in 2021, September of 2021, with a live studio audience on Tuesdays and Wednesdays in a COVID-19 compliant Studio A.
Amazing.
The more you know. You really learn a lot of good
Congratulations,
stuff on this
Steve.
podcast.
Steve's pretty great. Yeah.
It's educational. Which is a great segue to our next segment. Emily, would you like to introduce the next segment? The bread and butter of our show?
I was going to call it the meats and gravy. But the meats and gravy or bread and butter of our show, all of the food items is the main question and answer, where Jacob and I both come up with a question that we wanted to Google, but we haven't yet. And we just do our best to answer it. I can go first this week. My question is, why is it that like when you're in a car and you have like one back window open, your ear does a little like wobble, 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 wobble thing? That's
There's
very
a lot of
uncomfortable.
cars.
Oh,
This
yeah.
podcast this week.
That is apparently the theme.
Not the kid under my car going wobble, wobble, wobble.
Oh, he's okay. He's okay. We have to. He's
That's
okay. He is fine.
He wobbled away to the ER. Anyways.
Broken.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm learning so much on this podcast.
Still the window, though.
Wow, Emily, did you have any hypotheses about the window?
Physics probably has something to do with it.
Really great. My hypothesis is that it's usually only when there's like one window open, and so I'm
wobbling away.
my hypothesis is that it creates a hurricane, a tornado in your car.
Tornado. Only air, not water.
It's whipping around your head in a way that's doing something to your eardrums.
Yes. And it's only on one side. That's why it wobbles in one ear. But once you open both, the wobbles cancel out.
Oh, so like the air is just moving through your car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hitting your ear.
Ooh, I like feel it. Like I feel it just as we were talking about it.
Do you think it's
An
dangerous
empath.
that happens to us? An empath. I was going to say, do you think it's dangerous that it happens to us? Like you shouldn't probably do that for a prolonged period of time.
I feel like
Probably not.
our tiny eardrum can't even like sustain it for like a second, you know?
Well,
I'm
sometimes
panicking.
when it happens to me, I'll be in the car with other people because like somebody in the back seat's like, let me open up my window. And like everybody in the car is like, my eardrums are like wobbling, except for the person who opened the window. Like they just seem oblivious to it.
Maybe they're car sick and so they just don't care. And that's why they open the window.
Does the wobble happen in both of your ears?
I don't know why I feel like my right ear wobbles.
I feel like the right ear as well, but I would have guessed both ears.
I'm like popping my ears. I feel like I'm on an airplane.
Again, an empath. Yeah, I would really guess that it's like the wind is creating some type of vacuum or hurricane around your head, tornado, whatever the hell you want to call it. And like that's what the issue is.
I would think it's like air pressure.
Yeah, is it?
Because I feel like the air pressure thing is why your ears get wonky on a plane.
Yeah, the cabin pressure changes. When was the last time I was on a plane? Last summer. Thinking of my tiny eardrum.
Yeah, I think it has to do with you open the window the air pressure changes because like there's wind and stuff going in and out. And maybe it's like a vacuum. I don't know if you're going fast. Because I feel like it gets worse when you're going fast.
Yeah, definitely.
And that ear pressure, your eardrum is like sensitive.
But also a follow-up question: why does it only happen when you're in the back of the back window? Because I feel like you can put down like the driver's seat window and it doesn't happen.
So honestly, in my car, maybe related to the accident, my front passenger window doesn't open. Well, it goes down, but it doesn't go back up.
That happened to our grandmother's car when we were children.
She put a post-it note on the window that says, "Do not roll down this window."
That's the quisp story when I vomited.
I was gonna say Greta or Grun. That was it, right?
Yeah. Yes. I love that you know my grandmother's names.
You know the new song that Nicki Minaj came out with? Do we have a problem?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it.
It reminds me of, is there a problem? Do we have a problem? That one text message you got, and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the car. My window doesn't work. So I always do the driver's side window and the right rear passenger window, and it evens out. And I think the only time I usually put the driver's side window down is when I'm going to McDonald's, like just that one, for the drive-thru.
So you're not driving fast enough for the wobble.
But the diagonal cancels it out for you.
Diagonal definitely cancels it out, and I think it's because it's like it comes in, and then if it's just one, it just like swirls around and wobble, wobble, wobble. But if it's two, like ships in the night.
Like ships in the night. I wonder about cars that have two windows. You know how like
my car has two windows.
Oh.
It doesn't wobble.
Ever.
No.
Is it smaller?
Yeah. It's like one of those ones where like to get to the back seat, you have to like climb back.
Those are annoying.
They're really annoying, honestly, but it got me out of like driving a lot of the time. So people are like, "Oh, who can drive? Oh, sorry, I only have a 2-door."
Yeah, I have a Subaru. So get in the trunk, everybody just wants to get in.
Okay. Maybe I should get a smart car for my next car.
Do you still have Pearl?
I still have Pearl. Pearly, my girly. She is 20 years old. 21 now. She can drink.
20 fun.
She's a Gen Z. It is what it is. So our final hypothesis is that it creates a tornado inside of your car. Oh, do you think if there's an actual tornado that your ears would do the same thing?
Should we ask Dorothy?
Hello, Dorothy.
What happened?
I feel like no, only because you're not like in the tornado. Like you would be outside or maybe in a house. So it's not like stuck somewhere. The air is literally going everywhere.
So what if you were inside the tornado?
I thought it was peaceful inside the eye of a tornado. I always had this image of like that one scene where Piglet finds a meadow that he's frolicking through with a butterfly. That's the inside of an eye of a tornado in my imagination.
I feel like in elementary school, they were like, if you're ever in a tornado, go to the eye of the tornado because that's where you'll be safe. And I'm like, how?
I don't think anyone taught me that.
They taught me that. They were like, if you're in a tornado, go towards the eye of the tornado. And I was like, do you like swim in?
I feel like once you leave the ground, you have no control over where you are.
Yeah. Like, not to sound morbid, but if it's peaceful in the middle, that's because the higher power took you. I got a hallelujah. I mean,
you are underneath the car. You are. Going somewhere
Your
else.
elementary school teachers were just like, go towards the light, Jacob. It'll be fine.
Interesting. Damn, I was lied to. That all being said, would you like to Google it, Emily?
Yes. Why?
Search it. We're platform agnostic. If you want to use Bing to find out the answer, you can use Bing. But
Ask Jeeves, anyone?
I'm gonna see what.
So I started to type out, why do your ears wobble?
Mm-hmm.
And when you cry, why does your ears wobble? Tooth hurt. When I break, what does tooth hurt have to do with anything? Okay, when you drive with one window open. Okay, so according to stuff.co.New Zealand, the effect is called the Helmholtz resonance, and it happens when a container, in this case, the interior of your car, a container of gas, so the air inside your car basically, has only one single opening to allow entry or exit of the gas.
Mm-hmm.
The air in and around the opening starts vibrating, which is caused by the wind passing over the... I didn't actually click the link. I was just reading the preview and I now realize that was a mistake.
So the air is vibrating?
So yeah, the air around the opening starts vibrating because the wind is passing the open window. And it creates small vortex pockets which interact with the opening and cause the air inside to compress and decompress rapidly in a spring-like fashion. So the wind's going whoosh, and because it's going so fast, the air that's just like right inside your car is like, whoa, guys, why are you being so crazy out there?
Do we go out? Do we go in? Do we go out? Do we go in? That's what it's
like
doing.
that. And it's wiggling in your ears.
Oh my goodness.
So it causes your eardrum to vibrate as well.
Yeah.
So we were right. It creates vortexes.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of mini tornadoes.
Apparently, this is
smart.
The same scientific effect of like when you blow over a bottle to like make a sound. But since the bottle's small, it doesn't cause like the wobble.
Oh, we have a professional bottle blower. You just created what was it called? A
Helmholtz.
Helmholtz effect.
Yes.
We have a Helmholtz effect live on the podcast.
Oh, sorry. Helmholtz resonance. So that's that.
Wow. I feel educated.
I feel educated too.
All right. So my question that I wrote down in my notes app was lint with 3 question marks. I think why I wrote this down was because my the laundry machine at my apartment complex is broken. So I've been like going to other people's houses and doing my laundry there, which is, a little weird. And there was just like a lot of lint in the thing of laundry that I did. And I was like, lint. Where does it come from? How does it go into the little lint thing catcher? And all of that good stuff. In terms of like why I'm really curious about this is just that there's always lint. It's like, how is there always lint? But then like your clothes don't disappear.
Yeah.
Very valid question.
I'm one of the great thinkers of our time, of our generation. What's up with lint?
So much of it, though. Like, especially if you wash a towel, because like you wash, like towels are pretty sturdy.
Yeah, like I've had towels for years, and like they still be depositing lint.
I have a little washcloth from Lindsay Jones that I've had, and I've used it like several times, mainly for the dogs. But I've washed it a lot, and it's still there. But like lint is also there. And there's lint rollers. Like they made a whole thing for lint. Somebody made a whole thing for lint.
And how have we not solved lint? Like, how have we not made clothes that don't have lint?
I feel like spandex doesn't have lint.
Are you sure?
No.
No, it does. Oh my gosh, it does. Because sometimes I wash just my spandex. And guess what? When I dry them, even if I dry it on low, lint.
Interesting. Where's all the lint coming from?
So I feel like it has to have something to do with the heat because it's only coming out in the dryer.
Yes.
Right.
And tumbling.
Do we think
maybe heat makes the
Yeah.
fibers brittle. So when it's tumbling, it's like...
Definitely, because like you need high heat when you dry your towels. And that's when I get the most lint, is after a towel load or a blanket.
Oh. But do you get lint if you hand wash or if you like dried it on a clothesline? Would you still get lint?
I think so. Because look at this. If I wash this blanket and I dry it, okay? And then the lint, I think there's just like constantly lint everywhere. What is lint to dust?
I do think lint has like dust and probably like skin cells and like other stuff in it. Like I don't think it's just fabric fibers.
It's not just like
even if
cotton.
I hand wash this and then let it dry through the air and I put it on something black, there will still be lint on my pants afterwards. So even the lint trap doesn't get all the lint. So why is it there? What would happen if it wasn't there? Would there be more lint on my pants? I can't.
Should we be collecting our lint?
It's highly flammable.
Oh.
That's why you need to clean it out after like every dryer run. Also, how does it just collect the lint?
Yeah.
A vortex. It's the hyphen whatever effect.
I closed out of it already.
We don't know what it was called. We've already lost it.
Let me look it back up.
The Herdendered.
I always have to be here when my dryer's running because there's a lot of lint like deep in it that they need like a special suction tool for it.
A vacuum.
Yes. Like a special lint vacuum.
I wonder if lint doesn't just like come out as particles. It always like comes out as like a perfectly in the shape of the lint catcher. Lint trap, yes. Thank you. And I'm just like, how does it all conglomerate together to make the perfect, it's like cotton candy.
The vortex.
The vortex.
Everything comes back to the vortex.
There is something though very satisfying about taking the lint out of a lint catcher. It's like,
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's nice.
I honestly I like that it's compact. It's very considerate of the lint.
Thank you, lint.
So do you think that like the individual lint particles are small, and then just because there's so many of them, like that's why it compacts onto like the sheet?
Yeah, I think they all like join up together, because one time I would do my laundry. Like, you're not supposed to do this. Don't recommend. I'm a trained professional. But like, you do your laundry, you leave, and the lint goes in there, and then you do another load, and you don't clear the lint trap, and you see like the different like color of lint. They all come together.
Interesting. Static cling. That was my point. The static cling probably pulls it all together. I don't know why you have a dryer sheet, but I know you're supposed to put a dryer sheet in there. I know it like helps it smell good and like remove some of the static cling. But beyond that, I don't know how that.
The little mesh thing is like metal. So I feel like static is attracted to metal, right?
Maybe.
Mine's plastic.
Oh.
Like the actual mesh part? Every part of me wants to get up and go grab the thing.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah, no, the mesh is like metally.
So mine is like flat. I should just go grab it. But
yeah, yours is like a screen instead of like a bin.
And it has white holes. It's like a cheese grater. Or
right. Lint and cheese graters. What can cheese graters teach us about lint?
And I wonder if dryer balls, like, I know they help the clothes not like stick together and bundle up, but I wonder if they help.
Did you get your lint catcher, Emily?
I did. I have also realized, so I moved and I have not done laundry here yet, apparently. But this is my lint catcher, and this is definitely metal. So I think static has a thing to do with it.
So I guess like the vacuum that is made up, it shoots the hot air into the metal thing. The static cling catches the lint before it can just particle through its way through. And therefore we have lint. I'm not really fully sure of like how the fibers like come apart and like together to just keep making lint, and like how our towels aren't just
disintegrated.
Like towels do get like less fluffy and like less thick over time though.
That is true.
Yeah, but like based on the amount of lint, you can make like another towel.
That's why I was saying we should collect our lint to make more towels.
Yeah, but I think going back to like the fact that lint isn't just the fibers, like there's probably a lot more in lint than we realize, of like dust and skin cells and I don't know.
But I feel like when you take it out, it's not like that dusty. It's like mostly fabric-y.
I feel like it's pretty dusty because like I've washed all like towels at once, and like mine are like a royal purple, like this plant right here.
Love that color.
Thank you. But like then the lint is like kind of like a light purple, so there's a lot more than just
that is true.
The royal purple fibers in there.
My towels are brown and then it's light brown, so that does reign true with me as well. That resonates.
Dust.
So we think it's just fabric and dust.
Yeah. And static electricity collects it in the little thing.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it. What is lint? My Google is like weird. What is lint made of? Lint comes from fabric fibers that shed from clothes and other garments that we wash or dry. Cotton, linen, and wool can all contribute to lint, although washing or drying these clothes alone isn't the main reason there could be a buildup of these fibers.
I'm hooked.
This is a website called domax-uk.co.uk, and the title of the article is, Why Does Lint Form in the Tumble Dryer?
I would just like to point out that all of our sources like tend to be international sources.
International podcast.
Okay. Fabric fibers form as a result of friction, which is most likely caused by simply wearing our clothes. Friction causes the fabric fibers to loosen, which will then come off during the washing and drying process. Okay.
I buy
Apparently,
that.
it's bad for the environment because it has microplastics in it. And a considerable buildup can build dryer fires, which we knew.
Mhm.
You look concerned.
I don't understand. Like, it doesn't tell you how it catches the lint. How does a lint trap work? How does a lint trap work? This is from homesteady.com. The dryer puts fresh air through a vent on the machine and directs it through the heating elements. Okay, we knew that. The heated air picks up lint in the tumbling process and passes it through a removable wire filter as it exits the machine through the dryer vent. The filter prevents the lint and fluff from becoming trapped in the exhaust hose. So it's nothing to do with static electricity. It's literally just the particles get caught in the mesh.
So the air inside a dryer, like it goes out kind of regularly. Like it exits the machine.
From the same lint hole area?
Yeah. So like the air's going out and then it's like, oop, caught, but the air keeps going.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because there's those like exhaust things outside buildings that are like,
yes, that's what that is. Every time I'm doing laundry, I see a giant thing. What is that?
and it smells like laundry outside.
Yeah, it smells so fresh. That's why I like walking past people's houses when they're doing laundry.
I'm glad that's the reason and not anything else.
But also, so I can steal their laundry. Take one stock.
Apparently, let's both of you can guess, how many fires do you think are caused by lint traps annually?
In just the and this is in the UK.
This is from United States Consumer Product Safety Commission in 2002.
2002. So if we just for population.
Annually? I'm going to say 667.
Okay.
8,432.
Incorrect. The correct answer is the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission estimates 15,500 fires associated with clothes dryers occur annually, which is terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
So clean your lint traps, folks.
Once my washing machine set on fire.
I remember that.
How?
I think it was like whatever band in the bottom was rubbing against something.
Shit, mine may do that because when I do my laundry, my washing machine freaks out like do 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 do. And then people are alarmed when I'm on the phone with them. They're like, what is that? I'm like, it's the washing machine.
I called the emergency maintenance number for my apartment complex and I left a voicemail. I then called the 911. Literally.
Fair. Well, I feel like I learned a lot about lint, which is a great educational experience. Unfortunately, it didn't have anything to do with cars, but
it's okay. We still learned.
Jennifer, did you bring us a question? Do you have any final things that you would like us to answer on this podcast while you're a guest host?
Oh, yes. Urinal etiquette / bathroom etiquette. Also, is a urinal just a urinal?
What else would it be?
You do not poop in a urinal.
No, like you know how like the water flows backwards on a toilet in Australia? Is urinal in Australia like is a US urinal an Australian woman's toilet?
No.
What?
Of the day. You know? No. Okay. I mean maybe I'll Google it. It's not. So urinal etiquette, because at work, I have a coworker. He always goes, for some reason, he's been on the same schedule as some other guy in our building. They've just been on the same P schedule. So now he tries to amend his schedule when he goes because he hates running into that person at the urinal because he doesn't have like proper urinal etiquette. And it just really has me thinking, what is the proper etiquette and why just do people not realize it? You know?
Yeah.
So as a woman, I assume you don't want to go close to someone else. Okay, rule number 1, don't share a urinal with anyone else.
Fair.
That seems pretty straightforward.
Unless you want to like have a sword fight.
I think
Jacob, have you ever had a pee sword fight with someone?
No.
Okay.
That sounds terrible, but I don't kink shame.
I think the rules, and I don't know how, but it's coming back to cars. If you're in a parking lot, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
go
you
on.
don't want to park right next to somebody, but if there's no other space, you don't want to park far. You're like, you don't want to pee far. You just go like right next to a car. But then it's like, how do you choose? So there's 4 urinals. Someone's at 1 and someone's at 4. Do I go to 2 or 3? How do you decide where to park?
I
Honestly,
think you gauge who's going to finish first and go to the one next to him.
Mm-hmm.
So you minimize the amount of time of being close to someone else peeing.
Yes, you minimize the amount of damage, which you also do when you're parking. So if you park next to, like a really like beat up car, or my car, which is semi beat up, I'm still missing a headlight.
I have a lot of opinions about urinals.
You do also have to keep in mind that if there's somebody at 1 and there's somebody at 4 and 2 and 3 are open, you can also go to the stalls, which is something that I've done in my personal history. But then when you go to the stall and you just have to pee and it's like a number 1, the question becomes, do you close the door or do you just leave it open? I always
would close the door. I feel very strongly about that.
I feel like it's because we always close the door. Like maybe if it's just.
But I also feel like if I'm a person who has to go poop and I'm like, oh, I gotta go, and I see it, the door's open, I'm gonna be really upset if like I just like turn the corner and there's a man peeing there.
That's true.
That is true. Yeah, and it is awkward when somebody like would bump it, because like I always close the door, but
someone bumps into you.
No, I like go in and bump into somebody and be like, oh my god. I don't bump physically into them, but I'm like, oh my god, there's someone in here.
Imagine you're like trying to pee, and someone like physically pushes you, and
oh my goodness, good heavens,
Mamma mia!
I'm so sorry. Pardon me.
The other etiquette, because when I used to work at Hulu, there was only 2 urinals in every men's bathroom, and oftentimes like there was like weird shelves that you could like put your laptop on in case you were peeing between meetings, which I was like, do not bring your laptop into the bathroom like that.
Yeah.
Question for the class. If you walk into a bathroom and it's completely empty, let's say there are 5 urinals and or 5 stalls, which one do you choose when you have all the power?
If I had to pick a urinal, I'd pick 3. If it was a stall, I'd pick the big one.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, if it's not 5,
absolutely,
if it's 5, I'll always use 3, most likely.
I think I read a study because I'm always like a very nervous public restroom user. It's anxiety. I've read that number 1 is actually usually the cleanest.
Really?
Yeah, because
I feel like I always choose like the 4th quartile because I assume no one's going to want to walk all the way back here. So therefore it will be cleaner.
Everybody thinks that apparently. And so therefore number 1 is actually the cleanest.
So then again, average thinker.
Yeah, we'll see how clean things actually are. But yeah, that's what I would say the etiquette is. Don't talk to me and let me be.
And don't look at anything. That seems like a rule.
Yeah. But I feel like sometimes you can't. I mean, like I've never been in that situation, but I feel like naturally.
Interestingly, there is in West Hollywood a gay bar that does not have urinals. It has a trough.
I don't know that. No. Is there like one drain in it too, so all of your pee converges?
Everybody's pee mixes. I can't remember if it's in New York or if it's in Los Angeles.
I think it's in the South.
It's in Los Angeles because I've definitely peed in it. It's horrible.
And you don't pee in New York?
No, I don't go to New York that often. But it's also like metal. It's not even like a fun porcelain thing.
No. Shut it down.
Why don't you just make it plastic? Like,
yeah.
And there's no dividers either, which I think might be because it's a gay bar and like they're like, take a look. But I love that you're both just in shock.
It sounds really chaotic.
It is very chaotic.
I would go into the women's restroom at that point.
Imagine if the women had that.
A trough.
Yeah.
Imagine the restrooms were like back to back, so like they just shared one trough.
What if it was like this might be an invention. What if it was like a trough, but instead of like being attached to the wall, it was like a balance beam that you could hover over it. Keep in mind, I'm a homosexual and I don't know anything about female anatomy.
No, that could work. No,
No, because you have to take your pants all the way off.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Only in a dress.
I'm not.
A balance beam drop, but only in a dress.
I
don't understand the balance beam part.
Because you could straddle it. Because how would you guide it?
So the trough is elevated, and I just stand over it.
Yeah, and it's like a balance beam. But you don't balance on it.
Okay, I was picturing you standing on a balance beam from there. I really didn't know why you were both like, yeah, that could work.
What happens if you pee on a balance beam? Do you think it's like
left or right?
Okay, as a woman, it would probably like just go down your leg, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant like if you were doing like a cartwheel.
In your mouth? I mean, what?
The proper etiquette is do not pee while you're on a balance beam doing a cartwheel. Thank you for letting me know.
Peeing is so stressful.
I love learning. Really good at it. I don't think we even need to Google this one. I feel like we got our answer. It's just don't bother me when I'm in the bathroom. Which also
and don't pee on a balance beam while cartwheeling.
It just begs the question. When I visited Lizzie in Boston, Lizzie was on episode 2 of the podcast, for those of you who don't remember. She had this one hotel that she was like, this is the hotel to go into if you just want to pee, and like have a door that closes behind you. And I was like, why are we still making stalls and urinals and like all these things when we could have like little units that we can just close the door and be alone?
It saves on materials.
Probably true. But I feel like a big sheet of metal, a big sheet of metal is more than drywall, in my opinion.
Safety.
True.
Oh my gosh. Also, like when you're in a stall and there's a crack, why is that a thing?
I think that's just poor craftsmanship on whoever like built it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a designer was like, I'm gonna leave an 1.5 inch gap.
So you can peek through?
Yeah, like what do you need to see? You can just see the bottom if somebody's in there. It's so much.
Making eye contact with someone while you're peeing is really uncomfortable.
You've made eye contact with people while you pee?
Yeah, and when there's like a really large crack, you're just sitting there like in your business. Like you're looking forward, and like someone will walk by, and like occasionally you get a weirdo who's just like, and you just have this like silent moment where you're like, don't acknowledge this, please.
Because they're not trying to acknowledge it either.
It really is like a big crack, and I don't know why. Like sometimes it's like, eeny weeny, but sometimes it's just unnecessary.
Maybe we should all design bathrooms for our career paths.
Honestly, we should.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good idea. The Jacob, Emily, and Jen, EJ squared,
and we'll have
bathroom associates.
We'll have rules. We'll have our signs, our rules up.
Mm-hmm.
If one is taken, there's 4. Go to 3.
No cartwheels.
Cartwheels in the bathroom. They should put more gaps between the bathroom stalls. I don't need to be that close to someone.
Mm.
Period.
But if you're out of toilet paper, it's easy.
Oh, that is true. That does help. That's a good point, Jen. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that takes us to the saddest part of the show, the end. Wah, wah, wah.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Wobble, wobble.
Is the main key feedback, the key learning that we've gotten from
the Hermholtz feedback.
Jennifer, do you have any final thoughts for us before we let you go?
I'm not as bad a driver as was portrayed. I would like to say again that he hit my vehicle.
For the Geico insurance lady.
Yes.
Join us next week when we find out if Jen's insurance premium went up because of this episode.
It'll be fine.
I was gonna say, local woman arrested after doing podcast.
Listen, any media is good media. We'll get some more listeners from it. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you have anything that you'd like to promote, Jennifer?
I guess my dog's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Toby Means Business, with a period in between each word, and Leo, aka Poppy. Those are my 2 dogs. I forgot Toby's password for Instagram, and he did too. So mainly just go follow Leo.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I think we did a great job. If you all enjoyed that out there, be sure to find us on social at Search Bar Podcast. And my handle is I got Shubak, IGOTSCHUPBACH across all platforms.
My handle is at eShubak. And again, if you have a listener question that you want answered on this podcast, feel free to email us at searchbarpodcast@gmail.com. You can also give us a review on whatever platform you're listening to this. 5 stars only, please. And with that, we wrapped up another episode. See you next week.
Outside the Search Bar is a Perfectly Done Toast podcast production.